श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम्। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय आविराविर्मयेधि। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ओम्। अखण्डं सच्चिदानन्दम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् आत्मानम् अखिलाधारम् आश्रये भीष्टसिद्धये। May we be protected, may we be nourished, may we strive with energy and vigor. May our study be enlightening and not give rise to austerity. Om peace, peace, peace. Lead us to truth and not to untruth. Lead us to enlightenment and not ignorance. Lead us to immortality and not death. Let the self-manifest Atman grow in me. Om peace, peace, peace. I take refuge in the self, the indivisible, the existence, consciousness, bliss, bliss absolute, beyond the reach of words, and though thought, the reach of words and thought, beyond the reach of words and thoughts, and substratum of all, for the attainment of my cherished desire. That is cherished goal. So here, Atman, when everything, where everything merges. Atta. That means what eats up everything. So for devotees it is God. Though devotees start God outside, and gradually what happens? He merges in God. Whereas yogis, they meditate on the Atman, self. And jnanis, they also meditate on Atman, self. A little difference is there, but anyway, here what we are trying to find the center of the whole universe. You know, science also is trying to find the center. But science is exploring maybe somewhere in the galaxy, or maybe they don't know. But spiritual scientists, they know the center is here. Whatever we experience, the center is here. Now what is that center? That is the challenge, to know that. As of now we have notion that we are bodies or we are minds. But what is the real nature of this self? This is the quest. We have found Tat Tvamasi. Upanishad says, and gurus would say, that you are that. You are that. So how can this small being be universal? So here what is meant by that? That deduct that what is not essential. what is not essential. What is that? Like Tatkal Vishishta Devdatta and Etatkal Vishishta Devdatta. That means that time Tom, this time Tom. So Tom is the same. The difference is in age, in wisdom, all kinds of these kinds of differences. How we equate? We equate that we remove that bodily qualities and also signs and symptoms of his status, his mental upbringing, all these things, mental state, and we try to equate. This is automatically we do. So we have to find this self, Atman and Paramatman. Atman and Paramatman are the same. So as one purifies these, Atman and Paramatman. Atman means individual self. Paramatman means supreme self. So as one purifies, purification means leaving aside what is not essential and taking what is essential. That we have already discussed in great detail. Now what happens when you purify that, that unification comes. So when Guru says, thou art that, you are that, you are that. So here the difference between you and that, what is the difference? And what is the commonality? The difference is in time, space and causation. This time, in this space, and this relationship. And what is that time, in that space, in that causality. So these are the difference. What is the essence? Essence is that undivided consciousness. Consciousness here, when I am also conscious, you are also conscious. This consciousness is reflected consciousness. What is the source of this consciousness? As of now, we cannot see. Why? We see things through our eyes, but we don't see eyes. How we see our eyes? How we see our eyes? Mirror. So mirror is, that is, if that is dusted, that reflection is not right. See, when I have problem in my eyes, how we see? Mirror I cannot see. So we see through mind. How I am understanding that my eyes are, it has some power. Because through mind I understand, I cannot see properly because my gaze is not focused. So we need now I see. So this understanding comes through our mind. So mind see eyes, but mind cannot see itself. Similar, like this. How we know that we have mind? We know through our intellect. I was thinking something, say like, shopping. Shopping, what to take? Bread. Bread. That bread. Which one? Maybe the flaxseed one or this one. Then what is flaxseed? So it jumps from one to another. How we know? Through our intellect. When it jumps, it's called sankalpa, it holds, and vikalpa. That means it comes and goes away. So how we know that we have intellect? That we understand, because sometimes we are happy, elated. So this is further within. That also is understood because I am aware, conscious. Oh, I forgot to that reading. Okay, so we can start reading. David. So anyway, this
Okay.
we have come up to this, right? Now comes the experience. How we experience. Like I said that we don't see eyes through eyes. We need mind. And we don't see mind through mind. We need intellect to understand that I have a mind. We need something more to understand we have intellect. That awareness. In that awareness, everything shines. So that awareness you have to find. And that is what is being said here. Atha adunam brahmasmi iti anubhava vakyartho varnya. Now is being described the meaning of the sentence I am Brahman. Now this is another dictum. First is the Tattvam Asi. Similarly, this is also Mahabhakya, great saying. What is that? Aham Brahmasmi. I am that self. I am Brahman. So when say Aham Brahmasmi, Aham means individual self, and Brahma is supreme self. Atman, Paramatman. Individual self without all the dirts, means all the baggages, all the samskaras, all the mental modifications, all differences. That awareness, even awareness should not be reflected. And that is the Brahman. He is also bereft of all. Brahman is pure. Okay, there is no like less Brahman or more Brahman. But what is being in Brahman, all the ignorance should go. Brahman, when Brahman, he or she eat whatever. When it takes this ajnana, then he creates, preserves, and destroys. As Sri Ramakrishna says, Brahman is like without waves, placid water. And when it is in wave form, then it is creating, preserving, and destroying. So it is like Brahman and Shakti. Brahman and Shakti. So when it is like snake, Sri Ramakrishna gave another example. Snake, when it is standing, not moving, that's also snake. And when it is moving, that's also snake. So, Brahman with Shakti, that means Ajnana. Ajnana here this is, we are taking this Ajnana. Ignorance. Ignorance is a technical term, not ignorance like we don't know, like not like that. It's a technical term, Ajnana. So then this world is created, preserved, and destroyed. So Brahman should not be with Ajnana. And this self also should not be with Ajnana. So then comes the unity. What is that? That supreme awareness. And where supreme peace and bliss, which never deviates, which is not divided, where it is passeth all differences. So that unity is to be now is being explained. Now before we go, let us think about it. When I say, what is this? This is a book, right? How you know that this is a book? Okay. So you are seeing, what you are seeing? A form. And in your childhood, somebody told, maybe your miss told, that this is called book. So we registered here. Now how we see? Something is there here. And I want to see. When I want to see, my eyes goes there and takes that form. And that form is in mind. So I'll come back. In mind. So mind takes that form. Pustakakara, or this is book. So that form we relate with the name and form. Because somebody told this is called book. This is not a, say like pencil. So it is different from something, and it has um, some name of that same thing, not anything else. And it is not different. This is different from, say, cows on and other things. That's called three kinds of differences. One is sajatiya, swajatiya, vijatiya, and swagata. What is swajatiya, vijatiya? Like vijatiya means two different kinds of things. Like horse and cows are different. Within cows, one is white cow, one is grey cow, one is black cow. So that is swajatiya. Swajatiya means within that same category. And swagata means, say we have body. Say we are human being. You are different from me, I am different from you. This is swajatiya. But I have, within me also there is some difference. I have limbs, I have head, I have say like feet. So these are within that category. So with all these things we understand. How we understand? Say again, let us take this book. As soon as I see this, so I want to know what is this? Oh, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So my eyes goes, my awareness goes through my eyes and takes an impression. And as soon as the light falls in my retina, and through lenses it goes to retina, it creates some impulses. It creates some impulses. Book does not go there, does not go to enter my mind, but only creates some impulses, and it is translated into some electric, vibration. Whatever impulses it is there, let us think that way. Then it goes to our brain. Brain also, that by that time it does not understand. So there are two lobes there in brain. So one relates, it's like computer. That, in my childhood, what was called? It's called a book. So immediately then we understand. How we understand? So it is because of awareness or consciousness. I am conscious being. Say computer, now AI, artificial intelligence also. It is coming. So what happens when it is coded? Then only the impulses can be recognized. And first it is taught. Okay, this is called book. So it will understand. Oh, it is book. So while driving, okay, turn left. When you see a red sign, stop. So it stops. So similar we can see here. But how it happens, nobody can explain. Even science, whatever today science, it cannot explain. When Dr. Hargobind Khurana, he first assembled DNA. When he assembled DNA, it started automatic, and he could not understand why it is happening. Though he assembled for the first time, but how it works, how it becomes living, he could not understand, and nobody can understand how it lives. Even artificial intelligence is not aware of itself. It may work as you instruct, but there is no awareness, consciousness. Now here comes this, because we have this wonderful thing. We have that awareness. What is that awareness? That we have to explore. So the thing is, for Vedanta, even we accept whatever science is saying, fine, good. Impulses are coming, it is going through my nerve current that is produced when it hits the retina. That nerve current goes to brain, and brain, there is some centers are there where it is recognized. But after that, science cannot say. Science stops. But there we say, it is because I am aware of it, I am conscious of it. So it is like this. Say you are standing in front of mirror and you see your image. That means when you are seeing something, oh, my image, how it has come? So there must be a source, the awareness on that. Say like if there is a mirror, then only you are seeing reflection. On screen you see movies, on screen you see texts, etc. So screen should be there. And that screen is awareness, consciousness. But as of now, whatever awareness or consciousness is there, it is only reflected consciousness. Why reflected? Because it is with ajnana. Ajnana, that means ignorance with ignorance. So let us go to the next. When the teacher in this way clears the meaning of the words that and thou by the removal of superimpositions. So superimposition means as of now we have superimposed, oh, this body is me. If somebody pinches you, say, oh, why you are pinching me? It's only body. And somebody says any harsh word to you, and it hurts your mind. Why you said this? So mind is also, sometimes happy, and sometimes elated, sometimes morose. It is depressed. So mind also fluctuates. How we know that mind is happy or dejected or not happy? How we know? So this is, now let us go. When the teacher in this way clears the meaning of the words that and thou by removal of superimposition. Superimposition is like this, body, mind, etc. We have superimposed on us. And we think we are that. Most of the time what we think? Market, or what to do, where to go, all kinds of other things that we see. But what is most obvious we don't see. See, even so when you are reading, what you read? Whatever is in the book, you don't read your eyes. But here, this is the trick. We have to try to see the eyes. Okay, you can say, okay, we can see through mind. How we see mind? How we see intellect? So this is the way to understand or to know what is our real self. Now, evam acharyena. So, now let me read it first completely. When the teacher in this way clears the meaning of the words that and thou by the removal of superimpositions. Superimposition, whatever is covered. What is covered? First is ignorance. That means it has covered its real nature. And then something is reflected on it. Like rope, rope is covered by some impression and then it looks like it is a snake. When you drive in hot season, you can see water at distance, but you are not afraid. You go and it vanishes. So that is superimposition. That is to be removed. Okay, removal of superimpositions and makes the qualified student grasp the import of the sentence. Now, qualified. This is very important. Qualified. Who has practiced renunciation? Means he 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 first analyzes everything. Whatever is not real. Satyanrite mithunikrita. Everything is mixed up here. What is not real? What is temporary? What is not permanent? He rejects it. So viveka. Vivek means discrimination, power of discrimination. As you use while purchasing something, whatever is good that you purchase. So that is power of discrimination. He uses power of discrimination all the time. Second, he rejects whatever is impermanent, whatever is uh, not, whatever is uh, limited, anityam, ashuchi, whatever is unclean. So he removes all those things. And he then practices shama, dama, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, samadhan, that we have heard already in the beginning of chapter. So he is the competent student. What happens? Grasp the import of the sentence. Then he understands, oh, he removes superimpositions mentally. And he realizes it is one and the same. Thou art that which is absolute unity. There arises in his mind a state of absolute oneness in which he feels that he is Brahman. The feeling, when we say he feels, that's also not correct. He is Brahman. Feeling comes, goes away. But there is no other way but to say. Otherwise, like we cannot talk also. So feeling comes, I'm feeling happy. Oh, I'm feeling dejected. So this feeling is not right. He realizes his own self. He actualizes. He becomes one and the same. Being and becoming. As of now, we are so intoxicated with this world and this body-mind complex that it is impossible to understand. That is why Vivek, Vairagya, renunciation, that discrimination, power of discrimination, renunciation, and Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan, and Mumukshutva. Mumukshutva means intense renunciation, that I don't want anything else. I want to be poised in myself. So that intense, then only intense desire, intense like craving. It should not be said craving also. Yearning, intense yearning. I don't want anything else. It is like one is drowning and he opts for breath. Similarly, one feels that way. Then only he realizes it is one and the same. Absolute. Thou art that which is absolute unity. There arises in his mind a state of absolute oneness in which he feels that he is Brahman, by nature eternal, pure, self-illumined, free, real, supremely blissful, infinite, and one without a second. Nitya, eternal, Shuddha, pure, Buddha, enlightened, Mukta, free, Mukta, Satya Svabhava. Satya means only truth. Truth is its own real nature. Paramananda, supremely blissful, full of bliss. It's not blissful, full of bliss. Only bliss is there. Paramananda, Ananta Advaya, Ananta eternal, Advaya non-dual, Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, iti akhandakara kariti, karita chitta vritti udati. Then one feels that way. Okay, here let us take feels. After that, feeling also goes away. It's like you are seeing your mirror, your image in a mirror. Now mirror goes away. What remains? Only you. This is to be understood, that when mirror is not there, no images, you are in your own self, then you understand, oh, I am this. So he also understands that way. Satu chit pratibimba sahita sati pratyak avinnam ajnatam param brahma vishaykritta tadgata ajnanam eva badati. Now that chitta vritti also goes away. I know chitta vritti udeti. Chitta vritti is mental modification. What is mental modification? When I see this, oh, it's a book. So book, mental modification. It is like water in a lake. Swami Vivekananda gave this. And you throw a stone. Then waves, a circular form is raised. So that is like reaction. Action, reaction. So when we see this, reaction happens in our mind. And that reaction is book. It's not this book. Actually what is this we don't know. Why? See, red color means what is reflected. And I am interpreting it is red. But what its real color we don't know. Nobody can know. You are sitting in front of me. It's only my interpretation of things. What is in front of me we do not know. Because it is reaction in my consciousness. It's like in my consciousness, a stone is thrown. And that wave came. That wave I am identifying as this world. So, this is my interpretation, my reading. What really is, nobody knows. So this is called vritti, chitta vritti, mental modification. So chitta vritti udeti. Satu chit pratibimba sahita. Now, that mental state illumined by the reflection of the pure consciousness. Illumined by pure consciousness. Now pure consciousness is illumining. Even now, if I am seeing this world, it is only possible that in and through consciousness I am observing it. Otherwise, this book cannot observe. I am observing because the screen is that awareness, consciousness. On that screen, all the images are coming and going. So we are understanding this world is there. A dead person won't understand. So it is the aware person, even sleeping person won't see you. Or a person concentrating somewhere and a procession went in front of his house, but he could not hear. Many times you will see. If you are reading something very concentrating mind and somebody calls you 2-3 times, you may not be aware of it. So awareness is important. In our awareness, all the impulses are coming, mental modifications are coming. So here also it is similar. So I am aware. And one day, when I am fortunate, and I understand this self minus all the superimpositions and the supreme self except mm, ignorance, that both are same. So this is chitta vritti. This is mental modification that also stops. How it stops? Satu chit pratibimba sahita sati. That mental state illumined by reflection of pure consciousness. So in reflection, sorry, in pure consciousness, everything is happening. Illumination is happening. Objectifies the supreme Brahman. So it is objective, as it were. Your mind is like that mirror. In that mirror, you are seeing your face. You are seeing this whole world. The supreme Brahman, unknown but identical with the individual self. Why unknown? Because it is still with ignorance. Ignorance. Because of that, it is unknown. So it is ajnatam, not yet known. Not yet known. Because when it is known, then you are merged. You have merged in the ocean. Until or unless a river merges in the ocean, how can it know? So that's why ajnatam, unknown. Param Brahma Vishaykrit. That means Supreme Brahman, unknown but will destroy ignorance. When water merges in the ocean, then that separateness is destroyed. So this is, like with devotion we understand. I mean, whatever. We can imagine like this way. You don't want anything else but breath. I don't want anything but breath. When that eagerness comes, earnestness comes, then we come out of the water, and then we breathe. We breathe. So, as of now, because of his supreme vairagya, para vairagya, he understands this world is suffering, suffering and suffering, nothing else but suffering. And then he goes from here, he merges in the ocean. So that is because of para vairagya. So for a devotee, what happens? He loves God so much, he cannot be separated anymore. So a devotee merges in God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so eager to see Krishna that he saw the ocean. He thought it is Yamuna and my beloved is there, and he jumped into it. And he left his he left this body. So this supreme love, and here it is supreme vairagya, renunciation. Here, this is jnana yoga, path of knowledge. So through knowledge, he knows that everything is kshanikam. Kshanikam, kshanikam, sarvam kshanikam. Everything is kshanik. Everything is going. I need something which is permanent. And everything is here. Dukkham, dukkham, sarvam dukkham. Everything is full of dukkha only, sorrow. All kinds of miseries here. And when he feels this way, he is no more interested in this. That is supreme vairagya. But in devotion, it is love, intense love. Like a mother loves child. So Sri Ramakrishna gave 3 examples. As mother loves child, as a woman loves a paramour or a lover, and a vishayi, that means a worldly person loves his wealth. When all these 3 are joined, that supreme love, that only can lead us to that merging in the God, in God. So, love of child by a woman, and love of a chaste wife for her husband, and love of Vishayi, that means the person who loves worldly things, riches. One person told me, each penny is like my blood, one drop of blood. Such love. People they say loiter and they spend money like anything. But some people love it. They cannot spend. They are miserly. Because they love so much they cannot part it. So these three loves, when it is united, and then only one would like to have that, that love is to be oriented to God. So that is for devotees. For a jnani, he knows that this world is temporary, is full of filth. Nothing good here. Only the self alone can give permanent joy and bliss. So this is then he feels paravairagya, supreme renunciation. Tada patakaranat. Now it is giving the intellectual basis. Now he says, now let me read the whole thing. That mental state illumined by the reflection of pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is being reflected. Say like sun is being reflected. Objectifies the supreme Brahman. So if there is a bigger mirror like sun, then what will happen? The sun is reflected in that mirror. Supreme Brahman, unknown but identical with the individual self. Unknown, why? Because still ignorance is there. But identical with Supreme Self. Destroys the ignorance pertaining to Brahman. So it clarifies the ignorance. It removes ignorance. Then it unifies. Then there is no even chittakara vritti. That means that brahmahakara vritti, that mental modification also goes away. How? Then just as the cloth is burnt when the threads composing it are burnt, so all the effects of ignorance are destroyed when their cause, that means ignorance, is destroyed. So ignorance is destroyed. That means superimposition is removed. So that's called de-superimposition. So all the effects of ignorance are destroyed when their cause, that means ignorance, is destroyed. Hence the mental state of absolute oneness, which forms part of those effects, is also destroyed. So that identification, like that's first it is like objectified. But when that object is also destroyed, because ignorance is destroyed, then one becomes unified. See, like Samadhi, Sri Ramakrishna, when he is clapping his hands and singing the glories of God, so he is following dualist, following like Dvaitavadi, like God is separate, I am singing his or her glory. And then gradually he becomes quiet. And gradually what happens? That he goes to Samadhi. Samadhi, when it matures, then Nirvikalpa Samadhi. There is no alternate. There is no Vikalpa. And it is absolute oneness. And ordinary people cannot return after 21 days if one is meditating and merged in samadhi for 21 days, the body falls off because there is no binding force anymore. Mind is also merged. Mind also becomes no mind. There is no reflection also. That is why total samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. But Sri Ramakrishna case is different. He would go there. He said, like, ordinary people cannot go all the places, but a prince can go anywhere he likes. He goes up and comes down, go up and come down. So Sri Ramakrishna's case or incarnation is different from others. They are authorized for that. They are authorized for that. But other people, they merge. Sri Ramakrishna was in samadhi for 6 months. He had no body consciousness. But by the grace of Mother, a monk came that time. And sometimes he used to beat Sri Ramakrishna to bring a little awareness so that he could feed something. And again, so totally merged that time. So this is that time. It even the Chittakara and Brahmakara vritti also ceased to exist. That means it totally merges in the self. There is no reflection at all. Now let us go to the next. Tatra prativimmitam chaitanyam api yatha deepa prabhadivat. But here, it is like this. Reflection of sun or reflected sun from a dew. So, sun is reflected in dew. But when dew vanishes, what happens? Sun remains. Sri Ramakrishna gave this example. He asked Girish, tell me. So there is one sun and 10 pitchers. In 10 pitchers, the reflected suns are there. So how many suns are there? So he said, one real sun and 10 reflected suns. Okay, break one pitcher. Okay. How many? One real sun and 9 reflected suns. Okay, break another one. How many now? How many suns are there? One real sun and 7. Like this. Now last one. One real sun, one reflected sun. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, okay, break that also. What remains? He said, one real sun. He said, how can you say that? You can say in comparison that real and reflected. But there is no reflection at all. What remains? So like this ocean. In the ocean, sun is reflected. But when ocean is gone, what remains? Only sun. These are examples, one has to understand. Through examples, understanding, this is intellectual understanding. Tatra, as the light of a lamp cannot illumine the luster of the sun, but is overpowered by it, so consciousness reflected in the state of the mind is unable to illumine the Supreme Brahman. So, number one, reflected sun cannot illumine sun. And if in absence of reflected sun, even that question does not come. So consciousness reflected in the state of the mind is unable to illumine the Supreme Brahman, self-effulgent and identical with the individual self, and is overpowered by it. So self-effulgent and identical with individual self. So that and this, the awareness is the same and is overpowered by it. That means overpowered means it is only one. In absence of your mirror, only you are there. So that, and on the destruction of the state of absolute oneness with which that consciousness is associated, there remains only the Supreme Brahman, identical with the individual self. Just as the image of a face is a look in a looking glass is resolved into the face itself when the looking glass is removed. So this is, then it merges, then mind becomes no mind. Mind is absent. That we have read already that shloka. Um, Tatra jnanam dhyanashet abhasena ghatasthurya. So what, how we see a ghata, but how we see ourselves is totally different. It is not seeing anymore. You know, we see eyes through our mind through intellect through our blissful state. But how we see that blissful state? It is self-aware. We don't need anything else, because this is awareness itself. We don't need another lamp to see a sun. Everything is illumined by this consciousness. You know, when we say consciousness is only reflected, but one has to understand which is not reflected. Because of it, everything is being illumined. Everything is being illumined. So, so that is, let me read it again. As the sun, as the light of a lamp cannot illumine the luster of the sun, but is overpowered by it, so consciousness reflected in that state of the mind is unable to illumine the Supreme Brahman, self-effulgent. So objects cannot illumine the Supreme Brahman, but Supreme Brahman itself is there. See, when we see or we objectified awareness, how can objectified awareness illumine the original one? It cannot. Objectified things cannot illumine the origin. Rather, the origin illumines the objectified one. So self-effulgent and identical with the individual self, and is overpowered by it. And on the destruction of this state of absolute oneness with which that consciousness is associated, there remains only the Supreme Brahman, identical with the individual self. So it is all merged. There is no two. That my সেখানে সে বড় কঠিন ঠাই গুরু শিষ্যে দেখা নাই. That's a very difficult place where even guru and shishya does not meet, because there it is all one. Evam sati manasaivanu drashtavyam. Now comes here one statement says in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad that such being the case, there is no contradiction between the following Shruti passages. By the mind alone it is to be perceived, and that which cannot be thought of by the mind. So two differing statements are there. That it should be known through mind, manasaiva anudrashtavyam, it should be seen through mind, but not this mind, pure mind. Pure mind. That's why Sri Ramakrishna said, pure mind, pure intellect, and pure self is the same thing. When we objectify, say like we are meditating, all the outer things have gone. And then after meditation, when we wake up, what happens? We reflect our same awareness. So that's reflected. So in that state, when the mind also merges, so mind becomes no mind. That is purification of mind, pure mind. Pure mind, whatever is pure, whatever is absolute, it is not separate. It is one and the same thing. Evam chasati manasaivaну drashtavyam yan manasana manute. So, such being the case, there is no contradiction between the following Shruti passages. By the mind alone, it is to be perceived, and that which cannot be thought of by the mind. Kena Upanishad. We are to suppose that the unknown Brahman is brought into the contact with only the mental state, but not with the underlying consciousness. So mental state means like um, we want to. So phala vyapti. Now here comes two things. One is called phala vyapti and vritti vyapti. Vritti vyapti means when we see something, a vritti is covering that way. And a phala vyapti means whatever fruits means that whatever effect is there, that is covering. So here there is a shloka. Phala vyapyatvam evasya shastra kriddhir nivaritam brahmani ajnana nashaya vritti vyapti apekshita iti. So what it says? This time. So we'll take just read this one. Thus it has been said, the authors of the scriptures have refuted the idea that the individual consciousness can manifest the Brahman. So individual consciousness can manifest the Brahman, but they admit that the Brahman associated with ignorance is brought into contact with the mental states only for the purpose of dispelling ignorance regarding it. So what is that? Like tatra jnanam dhyanashchet abhasena ghataspuret. What happens when we see something like this book? So first impression comes. So that impression, that vritti cannot reveal itself. But when the awareness goes there, then only we understand, oh, we interpret, it is book. So vritti cannot reveal. Mental modification cannot reveal what it is. But it is awareness that reveals. When I see something, so it creates mental modification. That will not reveal. But it is my awareness that will interpret and reveal. Oh, this is called book. Even if I don't know the name, I'll experience something. So that is because of awareness. It is not because of that vritti. So we'll continue this with this. Any question? Okay. Shruti, yes. Eh? Brahman does not want. Like sun. Sun is shining. And you get up in the morning, you go for office and come back and eat and then sleep. What all work do you do? So it is like awareness. Then what is the fun? Why you should try to achieve it? As of now, what is the fun? There is no fun at all. It is suffering and suffering. temporary. We are running after, shadow. Shadow is receding from us, and then we are running. There is no fun here. If someone feels, oh, it is a great fun, okay, continue. But it's no fun. That's why we need to know. Even see, suppose uh, somebody makes you some animal, but you know I am not animal. Can you enjoy that animal life? You cannot. So from within, we have that inkling that we are not human beings. We are divine. Each soul is potentially divine. To manifest this divinity is the goal of life. We cannot stop. One may, suppress it for 1,000 years, but it cannot be stopped. What is from within that inspires to reveal itself. That is why we search. We try to stop it. And we are trying even. But you cannot stop it. Because that's your real nature. It is to be manifested. It wants revealed. Say like water. Water is evaporated, from the ocean, and then it rains somewhere. It rushes to the ocean. It cannot go anywhere other than the ocean. That is our real nature. And that's why, devotees, they love God. We also love something. People love their pets, or money, or spouse. But it's like temporary. You cannot do for long. When old days, everybody leaves you. The money goes away. Then even the family men also. It is difficult to tell us. For us to tell. Pets, that also, say dogs, die, say 10, 15 years. And then again they bring another pet. So anyway, so that call is there. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vipati. When it shines, everything is shined. And here there are not many. The problem is, we see many, but actually there are not many. We alone are there. Say we in a dream. Can you dream for eternity? You cannot. If you try, you cannot. Somebody will come and wake you up, or you yourself will wake up. So this urge of love for devotees, urge of this finding faults in this world, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha doshanudarshanam. Dukkha doshanu darshanam. One has to see what I am doing this here. What I am doing. I am eating, drinking, and sleeping. Eating, drinking, sleeping. Every day we do. Just imagine how many tons of food that you have already eaten. So when that idea comes, then only comes Vairagya. That's enough. That's why, Buddha Bhagwan, he tried to meditate. And then Mars came. Actually, not Mar, the shaitan. It is our impression. It is our mental modification. It doesn't allow us to go beyond. But he said, I don't want. See, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to meditate and to have samadhi. So every time he tried, Mother in her blissful form came. And, Mother with her benign face, a smiling face came. And Sri Ramakrishna could not concentrate. Then Totapuri came forward, took a piece of glass and pierced it here. Sri Ramakrishna said, I cannot do. Mother is coming all the time. He said, just concentrate here in between brows on the pain of it. Concentrate there. This time also he tried again, and beaming mother's presence was there. Then he took a sword and cut that also. That means what? That reflected being also he removed. He then merged in samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. And for 3 days and 3 nights he meditated that way. And Totapuri wondered, what a person, I tried for 40 years. After 40 years I got this. And this boy has achieved in 3 days. That is intense renunciation, intense love. Love to be free. Okay, we stop here. We'll say prayer. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tassat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Modern science is groping in darkness. Thinking that because of cell, the awareness is produced. It's not possible. Like how it is because of chemical. One doctor told me. What is this awareness? It is a chemical action. Because of chemical action, one is aware. But okay, you try. It's chemical